Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. Look, I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. Really excited about this one. This episode, we have Dr. Don Stockton, an amazing man, retired superintendent from Conroe Independent School District, the district that I have worked in for a long time, and truly grateful to have him on. So, Doc, first off, thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Hey, you're welcome, Chip. I'm honored to be here.
Yes, sir. Well, let's dive into it. If you don't mind sharing with the audience a little bit about your background so they have an idea of who you are and some of the amazing things you've been blessed to achieve throughout your life and career.
Okay. Well, I grew up in a suburb of Chicago, Illinois, and have two older brothers, lived in the same home for growing up, for 18 years. And my parents worked at a resort. They worked in the housekeeping department. My dad was the director of the department. My mom was his assistant. So they worked together for probably 15 years. So that was a big part of our life, hanging out at the resort and helping them and doing things like that. I was lucky enough to be able to go to college on a football scholarship. I went to Purdue University and really enjoyed Purdue. Purdue is a great place to be, and really lucky I had a scholarship, because if not for the scholarship, I probably went to the military because we didn't have the money to just go to college. So enjoyed Purdue, was a business major and thought I'd do that. In my junior year, now remember back then, Chip, there wasn't any online. There wasn't any internet. There wasn't anything like that. So our online was a big wall that had job postings on it. So every day I was waiting for my business class, and I kept looking at that wall, and there wasn't anything else on there. There was anything, period, that I wanted to do. So I went to my counselor and I said, here I am, about a year away from graduating, and there's nothing I want to do on that job board. So he said, what's your passion? What's influenced your life? And I went back to, folks like you, teachers and coaches, and who impacted my life, who I love being around and working with other people. And so he really encouraged me to become an educator. So I switched my major. I went an extra year at Purdue, which was fine, and became a teacher and a coach. I taught 2 years in Indiana, and then made a great decision to move to Conroe, Texas.
Wow. And
moved down here about, it's got to be about 37 years ago. And I've loved it. Loved being in the Conroe School District all that time. And when I got down here, I was teaching and coaching in Travis Junior High School, and really enjoyed that. Enjoyed the people I worked with, and that's where I met my wife. She was a new teacher my second year there, and we met. And she waited 5 months to marry me. I tried to marry her a little bit quicker, and she held off. And we got married. We just celebrated our 34th anniversary. So I stayed at Travis for 3 years, and then I went to Conroe High School and taught and coached at Conroe High School, much like you did at one point. And at that point, I got into administration. I was an assistant principal. In fact, let me back up just a minute. When I was at Travis Junior High School, Dr. Kapner was the principal. And he stopped me one day in the hall and he said, have you ever thought about being an assistant principal? And I looked at him and I laughed. I said, why would I want to do that? Assistant principal is a hard job.
Yes.
And I said, Chris, why would I want to do that? And he said, you can impact a lot of people, and I think you might be good at administration. So I actually went back to school at nights and got a master's degree in administration. I had a master's degree from Purdue in education, but I got a specific master's for administration at Sam Houston, and taught and coached at Conroe High School. And then year after that, an assistant principal job came open at Knox Junior High School. So I went there for a year. I went to Oak Ridge High School for 2 years as an assistant principal. Then I went to McCullough High School as a high school at that point. I was there for a year. And I'll never forget, I finished my master's degree at Sam Houston when I was at Oak Ridge. And I went into the principal, Dr. Libby Gardner, who I really love, and said, hey, I'm done with school. And she said, okay, now you got to get a doctorate degree. And I said, oh, no, you're killing me. What do you mean I have to keep going back to school? And she said it very nicely. She said, it makes a difference because there's not a lot of people that have doctorates and you separate yourself from other people. And I've always thought that was great advice, not only for a doctorate, but I've also given that advice to kids over the years. Try to do things that separate yourself in a positive way. So I started my doctorate and I worked on that, and I became principal at Knox Junior High School. I was there for 2 years. During that time, I finished my doctorate. And Chip, as you know, you do those things in the evening, you do them on the weekends, you do them in summer. And it's hard, and it's a hard thing, but it advances your career, advances your family's chances for success. And so I finished my doctorate in 1996, which is a long time ago. And then they opened McCullough Junior High School as an 8th and 9th grade campus. I was a principal there for 3 years. Then went to the Woodlands High School for 3 years. And an interesting thing happened to me in January of 2002. I got a call from a friend of mine, and he said, hey, I'm going down to take the superintendent's exam. Do you want to come with me and take it? And I said, I don't ever want to be a superintendent. I don't want to take the exam. Why do I need to? He said, come on, you ride with me, we'll take it. And I said, okay. So I rode with him. We took it and got certified to be a superintendent. That was February of 2002. In March of 2002, the assistant superintendent's job came open. I applied for that and got that job because I had that certification.
Wow.
Fast forward, I was an assistant superintendent for 9 months when our superintendent left. And I was named interim superintendent overnight. 4 months later, I became superintendent. I was superintendent for over 15 years. So the moral of that story is always be prepared, because you don't know what's ahead of you. And I always said, you don't know what God has planned for you. So you do everything you can on your end because you never know what's coming up. So superintendent for over 15 years, and was blessed to have that job. And I retired officially in 2019. And my wife was a teacher throughout the district for 28 years. And so we've been retired now for almost 4 years together and enjoying life.
That's awesome. Such a neat journey. I love how you talked about, being prepared. You never know what opportunities are going to come. But if you do the most you can, the best you can to be prepared for whatever, then I think opportunities bring opportunities.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the interesting thing about that is it was a great journey. When I look back, it was a great journey and I loved it. Now, did I love every second when I was going through some of it? Not at all, because these are tough jobs. Teaching, coaching, administration, those are tough things, and you deal with big issues. But the satisfaction you have in helping others, especially kids, makes your life worthwhile, in my opinion. And I tell people, I say, I love retirement because I loved my career and working what I did for I loved it so much. That makes what I do now even more enjoyable. So, and the other thing is, when you have challenges, those are opportunities. And I think you've heard me say that before. When the bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity. So when you're helping a kiddo through a challenge or kids or structures through challenges, those are opportunities to impact people. And you can't let those things go by without making that positive impact.
I love it. Well, what are 3 things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Well, pride's kind of catchy, because you don't want to take the credit for things. And the thing I'm most proud of is something I didn't do, but I'm a Christian, and I became a Christian when I was 15 years old. Mm-hmm. It's something that God did. He sent his son to die on the cross so that I would have everlasting salvation. So that's the biggest thing in my life. My wife, my daughter, my son-in-law, those are things that I couldn't put on a list, but I'm not really responsible for for any of them really. But the things I'm probably most proud of, I loved the career that I had, and I loved every moment of it. I loved every job I had. I loved every stop. I loved teaching and coaching in Indiana. In fact, I just reconnected with some of the kids that I taught and coached in 1982. Okay. And what's funny, you remember people in time, people are frozen in time. So when I left those kids, they were 15 years old. So I reconnected on Facebook, and one of them sent me his picture. He's 53 years old and he's grown up. And it's like, what happened to the kid that I coached? But I loved coaching in Indiana and teaching. I loved teaching and coaching in Conroe School District, and every job I loved. So I love my career. I love the opportunities that I had. So that's one. Number two, I love the people I have the relationships with. I was so blessed to come across so many great people. You're one of them. Everywhere I go, I run into people that somehow I've been connected with, and through teaching, coaching, administration, or a superintendent. And I love those relationships. I love going out in public and meeting people and catching up with people. So that's a couple things. I love being the superintendent of the Conroe School District. I think that was obviously a blessing to be given that opportunity. There was a lot of things that went into becoming superintendent, and a lot of things that I didn't have control of. But I really think God put me on this earth to be superintendent of the Conroe School District, because it would never have worked out that I got the job without him putting me in that position and making it possible, or survived in the job. So just being the superintendent, and I got to see so many great people there. One of the things I loved about being the superintendent is I got to go on campuses, and I got to see great people touching kids' lives. And those stories you don't read about in the newspapers. I got to see just real interactions with adults, with children, helping kids that never made the newspaper, never made the headlines, but people were willing to help kids just because that's what was in their heart. So I love being a superintendent. I love being our community superintendent. I got to see great things in the community. There's so many people in the community that are working to help our kids, whether it be the food bank or the United Way, or you name it. There's so many organizations out there that are doing things to help our kids be successful, and that impacts our community. So I was really blessed to be the superintendent.
Awesome. Well, just hearing you talk about your amazing journey, hearing you discuss the things that you're proud of, I would consider that to be hugely successful. So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
When you're in a position, I'll talk specifically about superintendent. When you're in a position of being in charge of an organization, you get a lot of credit for the organization, obviously. So you get awards and different things like that. And none of those things would be something that I would say I'm successful because this award or that award. But I would hope that I'm successful because I helped other people. When you can help others, when you put others, first and foremost, you become successful. And I think superintendency is a great example of that. I didn't teach the kids. I didn't coach the kids. I didn't drive the kids to school. I didn't feed the kids. I didn't clean the schools for the kids. Other people did that. So as superintendent, if I could help them be successful, that's success. When I was hired by the school board, I told them, when they interviewed me, I said, I'm going to hire really good people, best people out there. And then I'm going to get out of their way. I'm going to help them be successful and let them do what they are experts in doing. So, that's what I would judge as my success. If I have success at all, it's really helping people be successful, whether it be in our school district or the organizations I was involved with in the nonprofit world.
So good. Well, in closing, Dr. Stockton, I just want to say, again, thanks so much for your service. Thanks so much for the blessing that you've been to so many people. It's been awesome, again, to be under the leadership, to learn from and watched the growth. It's been amazing, the growth that we've had in this area throughout the years that we both have been here. And I'm excited, really excited about the future for everybody involved.
Yes, I am too, Chip.
Yes, sir. Well, again, thank you. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.